Thanks, APRA. Now we'll go to our last witness, which is Rest, Super and TAL Insurance. Well, thank you for being there today. I understand the information on parliamentary privilege and the protection of witnesses has been given to you. As a record, please state your full names and capacity in which you appear. Go to Rest first.
Rest, it appears our video is not working. Apologies, Chair.
No problem. It's okay. We can hear you.
All right, we'll try to get that working and kick off. So, yes, I'm Tyrone O'Neill, the Chief Strategy and Corporate Affairs Officer at Rest.
And I'm David Madden. I'm General Manager of Service Operations and Recovery.
Okay.
And I'm Jenny Oliver, the Chief Executive of Group Life and Retirement at TAL.
Yeah, okay. Look, it's nice to see you all. Just, we haven't got a lot of time, so I'll ask a few questions and I'll hand the call to the Deputy Chair. So, look, in relation to Rest, can I ask you, you have made a decision not to publicly disclose your member meeting disclosures, which are all the payments that you make to various entities. You've put it behind a member-based password process. Why have you done that?
I'm not sure what you're referring to, Chair. For example, in our recent annual member meeting, we had a list of itemised disclosures, which had a very long list of payments. That's publicly available on our website as of this morning, and it has been the whole time. So perhaps it's another fund that did that.
Well, I hope so. Was there a time when it wasn't available to everyone?
Not to my knowledge, no. I believe there are some funds where to access that information you have to log into the portal, but I don't believe that's ever been the case at Rest.
Okay. How much did you pay unions in the last year?
So I have that figure for you. We paid a total of unions that include union organisations, 313,000 in the last financial year.
That includes directors' fees, sponsorships, everything?
The majority of it are directors' fees, yes, and the others are for services rendered, and specifically there's service related to research that helps us as an investment manager manage our companies we invest in respect of labour rights, modern slavery and similar governance and other ESG matters.
Who do you pay the money to, the SDA?
So we pay, the SDA receives funds in respect of directors' fees only, but no other funds besides that. The other funds are paid to the ACTU. How
much did you give the ACTU?
88,000.
And what are you paying them for? Research?
So it's the primary reason is research. As I mentioned, given the expertise, they support us in managing the companies we invest in globally as well as in Australia around those, especially ESG areas. As I mentioned, also there's some aspects of some promotional support and some training and policy.
So 300 grand last year to the SDA and to the ACTU.
The majority of which was directors' fees, yes.
Sure. And have these payments been tested to meet the best financial interest duty standards?
Yeah, so certainly we've undertaken that for the ACTU payment, quite explicit best financial interest duty assessment, which we're very confident with complies with our policies.
And was that an internal audit style control process, or what? Who gave you that confidence?
So we have what we consider a very comprehensive process in terms of management of best financial interest duty to ensure we're compliant. And essentially, part of that is for certain types of discretionary payments. We undertake an assessment, which we document, and then essentially there's appropriate reviews.
Okay, I'll get you to provide that on notice, please. I want to ask you about these insurance issues. So what's the allegation here that you've charged 2,500 Rest members for insurance that they didn't want or need? Is that right?
So there has been, and in fact, including referenced in the committee's recent third report, a reference to that, and it has been in the media. So to recap on the issue, yes, there was an issue where around 2,500 uninsured Rest members incorrectly had insurance cover added to their account last year. I'd like to start by apologising and saying sorry to those members for this mistake. To give you some background on what happened after that, once we identified the issue, we did address the error quickly and then went through a comprehensive process, a thorough review to identify all members impacted and permanently fix the issue. We then wrote to those members to inform them of the mistake and let them know how to have the premiums refunded if they wanted that. Now, when contacting members with options, we chose to preserve access to insurance with the offer of full refund, to return the member to their original position if they wanted to. And that approach was intended to reduce the risk of members suffering serious financial harm through not having insurance.
Okay. Are any of these members under 25?
I'll take that question. The only members that could potentially be under 25 would be those who would have opted in for insurance, and all of these members are members who had previously opted out. So I would be confident in saying that it is unlikely any were under 25.
Okay, so they're all over the age of 25. So you're not contravening the legislation in relation to under 25-year-olds.
Senator, in terms of our investigation into this issue, I don't believe there's any breach of that legislation at all.
Okay, well, that's good. Now, how many union members are on your board?
I'm unaware of that answer as it is at the moment, but we do have transparency around disclosures for our directors and our executive officers. They are published publicly on our website. That's a disclosure regarding conflicts of interest and conflicts of duties. So you can look at that website.
Okay. And I think, so the chair is a former politician, Mr. Molino?
That is correct.
Okay, and who appointed him and how was he appointed?
The appointment of the chair was a very considered process the board went through normal processes and essentially included use of an independent party to evaluate possible candidates. So we're confident there was a clear formal process for that.
So who appoints the chair of the board? Is it the owners of the fund? Is it the unions and co, or how does that work?
I have to come back to you perhaps with further precise details, but essentially, in summary, it's a board-led process. So it's not the board itself. And I note that that chair is an independent director, so is not actually, unlike other directors, someone who's sponsored by either a union or an employee body, but it's an independent director.
He's independent from the union and the other owners, is he?
His status is as an independent, yes, in terms of his status on the board.
Okay. But doesn't the SDA and the ACTU affiliate with the Labor Party?
That may be the case.
Okay. And so effectively, but he's only wearing one hat, isn't he? His only link is that he is the chair of the fund. He's not working in the other union or labour movement, is he?
You will be able to see for yourself his disclosures on our website. So our view is if someone is a member of any political party, whichever one they are, and they happen to be a director, they would disclose that matter. What they do in their time outside of being a director is not actually an issue for REST.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it's quite different from the other fund, the CBAS fund, where the chair is exercising a official role inside a political party, which receives funds from unions and the super funds through that sort of washing mechanism. It appears to be separate. So could you please provide the arrangements which you think justify his independence? I think that would be useful for the committee's deliberation. I just want to ask you two more quick questions. Who is the chair of your risk committee?
Chair of our risk committee is Mr. Adam Walk.
And does he have risk management experience?
His qualifications are actually on our website. I can't answer that question.
Okay. And finally, just a very random question, which I don't think you'll mind answering. It's just to do with this. Do you know about this retirement income covenant?
Yes, we are aware of that.
You know about that, do you? Yeah. So, I mean, what do you make of the idea of sort of forcing annuitisation? Do you think that's a good idea, or what's your take on it?
So we essentially, in terms of any product design, it's a very big question, and we spend a lot of time in this matter. Product design consider our members' needs in every situation. I will note that REST members, their situation is typically they have a much lower balance when they reach retirement. And in fact, also a higher proportion of REST members compared to many don't own their own home. So therefore, we focus very much on supporting their needs. So we consider there's a range of requirements.
So I don't really understand. So do you think it's a good idea or a bad idea?
So can you please clarify what you're referring to?
The question is the idea of encouraging people into annuitisation, do you like that idea or not?
So are you suggesting, do we have a view that we think people who move into retirement should go through an ongoing perpetual annuity?
Yeah.
For example?
Yeah.
So that has not been our view in the past.
Okay. Thanks for being there, Deputy Chair.
Thanks very much, Chair, and thanks for coming today. The Chair's asked some questions around the representative model of having union representation and employer representation on your board. I think we know that Australia's superannuation system is indeed the envy of the world. And of course that profit to member funds or industry funds that have equal representation of unions and employers are at the forefront in terms of providing retirements that have never been seen by Australians before. You know, we're seeing a generation of people now retire with a level of comfort, dignity, security that they haven't had before. And again, our profit to member funds, our industry super funds, delivering the best returns on average over a number of years amongst our world leading superannuation funds. I just wanted to go to the importance of the representative model to the success of REST. And can you explain to the committee how it is that representative model, having people from who are representative of unions and industry, assists in providing good returns to members?
Thank you for the question. So firstly, REST has had that equal representation model now for many years, some decades. And at a headline level, what we've seen is extremely strong performance and superior financial performance, for example, over the last 2 decades to the standard kind of or median super fund on a comparable basis. That governorship and oversight has supported very strong returns in hundreds of millions to billions of dollars over that time. What we see qualitatively is having a diversity of backgrounds on the board from unions and from employer organisations is extremely important to help ensure we have the right level of member centricity in the organisation, that we can take different perspectives. And in particular, given that our members typically are, for example, can be members of unions or they cannot, and they also are typically employees of businesses, then having both being able to kind of meet on the table has been extremely helpful. And it helps provide problem solving and other solutions quite frequently.
And what are some of those benefits in having close links to membership via the employer associations and the main union, I think being the SDA, reflected on the board? How does it help REST understand members better, deal with issues like, for example, unpaid super, deal with reaching out to potential members, new members, which of course is important to the stability of the fund as well?
Yes, well, having, for example, the SDA on our board means that we have representatives who are able to actually speak to this understanding of actually the situation of people working in a retail environment who are many of our members. And therefore they kind of know the reality on the ground of what they're experiencing and actually can represent that view in the boardroom where appropriate. Also, from a policy perspective, it's been quite important for us to actually work with, for example, our board members on things such as when we're advocating on key policy matters. So, for example, during the last term of government, the introduction or the removal of the $450 contribution cap for lower paid workers, typically casual workers. And that was something which was actually informed significantly by understanding the situation and the challenges that many workers had, especially casual workers. And that was kind of informed by that, some of that participation. So the other side, we also have ability to consult on matters, and that's across actually the kind of union and employer organisations. So something like, for example, this a recent proposal that we and others are putting forward for the introduction of super to be paid universally independent of age, so to under 18s. That's an important matter, and we think it's a key point of justice to ensure that younger people can get access to super. But we're able to, in having conversations with unions and employers, we can discuss it together, actually, because there is an impact, and any recommendation like that, we'll have to discuss how we would suggest a transition.
So the benefits of being for providing appropriate service and returns to members, but also being able to impact policy as well. I'm just noting the time, Chair, and that you'd invited Ms. Oliver of TAL, and whether you wanted to ask Ms. Oliver any questions. If not, I've got one question for her.
Go ahead, Deputy Chair.
Well, thank you for coming, Ms. Oliver. The Chair had raised a question of rest there, just in relation to the concept of annuities, which is receiving a reasonable amount of focus in policy debate and the media at the moment. I'm just wondering, in general, what trends you're seeing in relation to the question of annuities in the retirement system, in the super system.
Thank you for the question, Senator Walsh. As it relates to annuities, I feel annuities can represent a really important product option for Australians as they progress through their retirement situation. I've seen that where members and Australians purchase annuities, that can result in better retirement outcomes for them, both financially but also from a confidence perspective. We know that retirees often underspend in retirement because they're concerned that their retirement savings are going to run out before they need them to. An annuity gives Australians confidence that they will always be able to earn an income whilst ever they need it. In terms of the developing trends there, we're actually seeing growing awareness and conversation around the best target markets, the best cohorts in Australians for these products to be suitable for and drive best outcomes with. And hence we're having conversations with our superannuation partners, with the regulators and with the government around what type of products are best suited for Australians and what advice they should receive prior to taking those products.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being there today. And I now bring the hearing to a conclusion. Thank you to all witnesses. The Hansard and Broadcasting Committee has agreed that responses to questions on notice should be provided by Thursday, 6 May 2025. Thank you very much. The committee is adjourned.